and welcome to the third annual JQT Hanukkah Hotties. My name is Carmel Tanaka. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm the founder and executive director of JQT Vancouver, a volunteer-run Jewish queer and trans nonprofit dedicated to queering Jewish space and Jewifying queer space in Vancouver, BC, on the ancestral and unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh peoples. For Hanukkah this year, we are being generously supported by Creating Accessible Neighborhoods, an organization that advocates for and educates about disabled people with intersecting identities. You can learn more about this fantastic organization doing amazing work at canbc.org. Our community partner this year is LGBTQ at the J, the heart of Toronto's LGBTQ plus Jewish community, providing queer Jews opportunities to gather, celebrate, and thrive. For each Hanukkah, or I should say, for each candle of the holiday, we have a Hanukkah Hottie joining us to light their Chanukia, perhaps share another tradition, and chit-chat about the wonderful things they do in life for the duration of the candle's burning. For our eighth and final candle of Hanukkah Hotties, we are joined by Jennifer Crawford, a queer, autistic, pro wrestling Jewish chef from Brooklyn, Nova Scotia. Here's a little bit about them. Jennifer is a chef, pro wrestler, and feeler of big feelings. They grew up in Nova Scotia's beautiful Annapolis Valley, and after more than a decade in Toronto, are home again. When they're not weaving challah in the kitchen, you might find them as moon miss in the wrestling ring at the Lions Club Arena, cooking for their experimental pro wrestling supper club, or giving themselves brain freeze from the ginger soft serve at the local ice cream stand. Tuning in from Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, please welcome Jennifer.
Yay!
Hello.
Happy Hanukkah!
Happy Hanukkah! How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, it's our pleasure and complete honor. Why don't we kick this off and light the candles?
Let's do it. Yes.
You ready? Here we go. This is one of the movie magic where we bring in. Brilliant. Okay, and while we were getting set up, we decided to go with non-binary Hebrew blessings, which you can find at jqtvancouver.ca/Jewish-queer-blessings. So give me a minute to light the light.
I'm just pulling my hair back so I don't light it on fire.
I mean, solid. Good idea.
It's like, not that that has happened like 3 times recently. Like, it has.
Here we go. Okay, tough. Let's do this. Baruch atei ein chaim asher kitshanu b'mitzvotei v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Chanukah. Baruch atei ein chaim she'aste nisim lehori moteinu bayamim ahem b'azman hazeh. Amen. For those who are unfamiliar with non-binary Hebrew, it is a lovely grammatical invention that allows people who would like to create non-gendered Hebrew verbiage and blessings. You can check it out at nonbinaryhebrew.com.
That was beautiful.
This is the hard part, is once doing this, how do I get it into the middle?
Oh. Well, mine is giving off some heat.
that is very precarious. Hold on.
You got it?
I hope so.
Okay, I'm gonna very carefully move this guy now.
Sound effects. It makes it all better. Some serious
Oh.
heat indeed. I'm definitely feeling that in my face.
Yeah, me too. Well, like not yours, but mine. There, can you see
Yeah, I definitely can. It looks great.
that?
Wonderful.
Oh,
Well, the candles are now lit, which means we chit chat for the duration of them burning.
all right.
And I have to start with you, your life story, where to begin.
Well, I could tell you like what I'll tell you what I've been thinking about a lot today, specifically,
Sure.
and then I think it'll just like branch out from there. I can't stop thinking about how I might be able to make like a latke donut. Like I really like the two have to come together. I've been thinking a lot about like if I make latkes and then like steep them in cream, I can make like a pastry cream that then goes in the sufganiyot, like then it's like a twofer. But yeah, food is like what's on my mind pretty much all the time usually, and that's sort of always been the case. Um,
Well, speaking of which, this is now reminding me of a story my dad would tell me growing up in the Okanagan in BC.
mhm.
He was obsessed with the spud nut, the
What?
potato donut.
What?
Yeah, so you're onto something. So get this.
Yeah.
He said something along the lines of he um, could smell the donuts because they would push the air out onto the street. So, it would catch the attention of people walking by. And he'd come in and he
Yeah.
says the spud nut was for him the most incredible, light, fluffy donut on planet Earth. And I went on a hunt to find this, and there's something called the spud nut story, if you Google it.
Yeah.
And it's someone who grew up in Vernon, same town as my dad, and he
Yeah.
wrote either a semi-autobiographical or completely fictional, but I think it is, you know, for real, because it's basically the same thing my dad had said. This guy's journey of experiencing his first spud nut. And he remembers
Mhm.
walking in and he says, "Oh, can I have a donut?" And the guy who runs the shop says, there ain't no donuts here. There's only spud nuts." And because I guess he really wanted this kid to try it, I think he gave one on the house. And, of course, this kid puts it in his mouth. It's just blown away by the delicacy of it all and
Yeah.
reaches into his pocket and, gets some coins out. He's like, "How many more can I get with this?"
This is well, like now I have to go to Vernon? Is that where I have to go?
No longer there. The shop closed. And
Oh,
one of the
no.
things that I'd really like to do for my dad, who's getting on in years, is to make a spud nut for him.
Oh, Carmel,
So
I'm on the case. I'm on the case now. Like,
the recipes are the children of this shop posted 3 different ways to make a spud nut based on if you
oh,
have an industrial or if you have access to an industrial kitchen and then if you don't. So I will send you all the information and then we can FedEx that spud nut to my dad.
oh my God, that's so special. Thank you. That's so generous of them to share that.
It truly is because it was a special place and rumor has it it's the best spud nut in the world.
The only, like,
The one and only.
yeah. Oh my God, that's so cute. Well, like, yeah, I guess time for a latke nut. I mean, that sounds queer.
Most certainly does. Love that. A lot could not.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hearing you know, I'm saying this in every episode, but I am working on the Japanese oral history project at the moment, and okonomiyaki and latke is a combo at the moment that is
Oh,
near and dear
yeah.
to my heart. And someone else is making mochi sufganiya possible.
Oh, delicious.
So I know and I have full confidence in your abilities in the kitchen to create a beautiful latke nut.
Okay. Thanks. I guess like I was thinking too about like there's a traditional food in Nova Scotia called blueberry grunt. It's
Mm.
literally it's like the simplest way to put it is like it's stewed blueberries with almost like a biscuit dumpling on top of it. Um, oh my God, it's so good. But I feel like a sufganiyot of that would also be pretty special.
Well, I think the first time I was exposed to your genius was through a salted, was it a molasses challah?
Oh, this is I did there's yeah, maybe. I have like a Nova Scotia like a brown bread challah that I
Yes,
make.
yes, that one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. That was like the first time. Oh my God, I was telling my sweetie this story earlier when I was like trying to find some kind of like Jewish community, like some Jewish and community. I was like at home feeling like kind of sad and lonely and Googling um, like dad Jewish, like mom not, like quarter Jewish on my dad's side, like just all these really like specific terms, like just trying to find something, anything. And then it turned up like word for word the Jewish and website. And I was like, my
Shout out to
people.
Lauren,
Yeah,
Shabbos
love you,
Sasaki.
Lauren. Well, and I reached out to, I think, or Lauren reached out to me. I don't remember which, but I was feeling like very shy. And Lauren's like first message to me was like, how would you like to teach a hollow workshop? And I was like, me. It was the best. But yeah, and then it just like exploring identity through food has always felt really important to me, but then especially important and really just like fun and joyful and also delicious when it comes to queer stuff and Jewish stuff. Um, yeah. I did like the thing I thought you were talking about at first was I did some tea and toast sufganiyot last year. It's like a big thing. I don't know, like tea and toast, like red rose tea, like just like orange pico. Um, like I did like a pastry cream with that and some molasses as well, like just having like molasses and butter on toast. Anyway,
Also sounds fantastic.
yeah, I love talking about food.
I also, well, when was this? It was, I mean, we're still during pandemic days, but this might be pre-vaccine pandemic days. Um,
Oh yeah.
the Queer Kitchen? Was it Queer Kitchen?
Oh, so sweet. My Queer Kitchen. Yeah, with extra.
Uh,
Yeah.
Tell us more about that.
So for a while, I had like a column with Extra Magazine, where yeah, I would usually share kind of like a story as well as like a recipe paired with it, and like some photos and stuff like that. And then it's sort of just naturally turned into like a video project as well. Like this really like, sorry, we had just moved into this house, then a pandemic started. I had ripped apart the kitchen. I had just like with my bare hands just like taken apart half of it and then got like kind of pandemic depressed and was like I don't want to fix any of this. So just had like this one area with like a fairly decent backdrop where we filmed everything like remotely, uh and yeah, just had like what they just gave me free reign to like make whatever weird snacks I wanted and like talk
Uh,
about like food and queerness and identity and all that stuff. Um, yeah. And then like Moon Miss like started hosting the videos at one point, and then Moon Miss clearly had to become a pro wrestler, and then the show sort of took a back seat after that because I was very just sore all the time, honestly.
Natural evolution. Please tell us more
Yeah.
about Moon Miss.
Yeah, well, like one of my actually one of like thanks. I never get to talk about this stuff, Carl. This is so fun. Like uh, one of my favorite articles that I got to write with Extra was like in Nova Scotia there is this flavor of ice cream that's regional and it's been around since like the late 70s, early 80s. It's called Moon Mist and it's like a tricolor ice cream. It's blue, purple, and yellow. I just think the it is just an elite color combination. And then the flavors are grape, banana, and bubblegum, um, like together at
What?
last, Yeah, and like when you're a kid, like we were kids, like growing up eating this, like it just looked gorgeous. Like, and it was like
For
before
sure.
anyone was taking like pictures of their food, it was like it wasn't for the gram. It was literally just designed to be really beautiful for the sake of itself, like this kind of like really absurd beauty and like absolutely bonkers pairing of flavors that should really make no sense but makes perfect sense once they're all
Yeah.
together.
You said grape, banana, and bubblegum.
Yeah, yeah.
I am so into it.
Yeah. Anyway, to me, like that ice cream is like so gay. It's so queer. Like all this stuff that like shouldn't work but totally works and is gorgeous and like like when you look at the whole case, like it is the one with the sparkle. Um
Mm-hmm.
anyway, when I really like something, there's oh God, I have like 10 things I want to say at once. Um so at one point in my journey, I went to this trauma treatment program. I live with complex PTSD, and the best part of that program was talking about like amplifying our joy. So the same way that we tend to like ruminate on the stuff that really sucks that happens to us, um, finding ways to the stuff that we really love, like find as many ways to blow it up as you possibly can, even if it's just like a tiny moment. You see a cute dog, like take a picture of it, like send it to your friend, like write a poem about it, like make a cake about it, like whatever, just like blow it up as big as you can. So whenever that's something that I really like more than anything from treatment, that was the one tool that really stuck with me and I use all the time. So I really like moon mist ice cream. And I've like blown it up to like so many different things, like food wise. And then it felt natural that it could also be a drag persona, um, which Moon Miss was for like the My Queer Kitchen stuff. And then like to take it even further, it also felt like a totally normal like amplification of Joy Leap that she should be a pro wrestler as well. So like in my mind, this feels like a very clear path. Like, oh, like obviously you became a pro wrestler based on your favorite childhood ice cream flavor. Like it feels like quite logical in a way.
I mean, it's great. I love
Yeah.
that.
But yeah, it kind of comes back to that like what like just we find the most interesting ways to survive, right? Like
Hmm.
yeah, because that was like pandemic times where like in my personal life, some really weird stuff was happening. Just the pandemic itself was like so tough. Um, and then I don't know. Queers are so magic at like making beautiful things out of nothing. Um, I just, well, like we always have. Um,
Survivors.
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So anyway,
I
yeah,
am
who like
Moon
became my
Miss.
constant companion. Yeah.
So are the colors, because I've seen you in character. I've seen
Mhm.
photographs. There's definitely some purple action going on there. So there's some grape. Um,
Yeah.
is there yellow and bubblegum too?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Moon Miss's outfits have gone through like kind of a metamorphosis over the last like year, just as I get better at sewing, also. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hashtag upgrading.
Yeah. And it's like it's fun to like Yeah, it kind of feels like she's got her own momentum, and I just get to kind of try and, you know, up with her.
Along
And
for the ride.
yeah, yeah. Well, also like I feel like she's getting like gayer and gayer as time goes on as well. Like, because like pro wrestling's like pretty queer just generally, I think. And then like being dropped into that environment, she's really, I don't know. I just feel like
That's
there's a lot of
great.
different directions it can go. Yeah.
I'm just asking out of curiosity if there are other Jewish pro wrestlers that you know of that are also queer and out as queer.
Oh, that are also queer and out as queer. What a good question. I can't think of any off the top of my like I can think of well, I know our own like ring announcer is Jewish, like which is really fun, like in my own promotion. Like so like we get to bond over that stuff. But I can't think of one right now, Karma.
Super interesting. Yeah.
What a good
It's not that I
question.
don't tend to think, and I know that this is such a generalization, but when I think of people who are involved in sports, the Jewish community doesn't come to the top of mind. It's not necessarily
Yeah.
where we excel, although things are changing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you,
how
Margot.
does one get, well, I mean, for those of a lot of people will know you from obviously MasterChef Canada and winning that. And a lot has happened in life, professionally, personally, since then. But hearing a little bit more about the trajectory of your move into other different areas such as pro wrestling is really cool. I would love to know how you got into that world. Is it something that you always was interested in, or someone introduced it to you? Yeah.
Well, like, I'm curious, are you a pro wrestling fan?
I will be once I know more about it.
I always like I'm trying to gauge like how much detail does this person want? Because I can give a lot, or I can
Give
like
give give it
rein
to
it
me.
Okay, well, like I've watched it since I was a kid. Like I grew up on the WWF, and it was always like, it's funny. Like I never experienced that. I never experienced it as like macho. Like I experienced it as like what like this is a very fancy masculinity. Like there was something about
Mhm.
it that really appealed to me, and that also I felt like I saw myself in. Like it was so intentional and deliberate. Like there wasn't a single part of it that wasn't thought through like a million times over, like how you are being perceived in your gender, like from the music
Mhm.
to the outfit to the fake tan to the hair removal or addition, or the inflection of their speech, the gait, the like everything. Like I just like as like also an autistic kid trying to figure out like what do you even is a gender? Like how do I do any of this? Like I was always kind of like studying people's movements, like trying to understand like what femininity and masculinity like even meant. But there was
Mhm.
something about that in pro wrestling that I found really, really attractive, in a way where I like wanted to be it. Like if there's anyone watching this who like watches pro wrestling, like I always wanted to be a hybrid of like Shawn Michaels and Sherry, like Martel. Like I just wanted to like be those two at the same time somehow. Um, anyway, they're both just amazing. And anyway, what is the point? When I lived in Toronto, there was a pro wrestling school there, um, and I trained really hard for probably like 6 to 8 months. But that's when I was sort of like in the very late stages of PTSD, like which I didn't really know. I didn't really know what was happening to me at the time. I just knew that anytime I even like locked up with someone, and that's like the initial move. Like anytime I just like locked up with someone, my body would freak out, and I would force myself to like get through the training and then just like cry all the way home. Like, so I had to like kind of abandon it at that point. And then when I moved here to Nova Scotia, like I started going to shows. Like this is like now I've gone to trauma treatment. Like I've been sober for like at that point I had been sober for like 3 years. Like my mental health's pretty great. And the folks at the local shows, like I mentioned to them that I was really interested in like getting in the ring. Like it would be pretty cool if maybe one day I could like give it another shot. And immediately they were like, "What if we put the ring in your barn?" And I was like, "Wait, like now? Like you guys what?" And then they did, and I got that's how I met my coach, Troy Merrick. He runs a wrestling school called Cobra Clutch out here. He's amazing. I still have like a lot of trauma in my body, and sometimes that comes up in training in different ways that like you're trusting other people with your body and your life when you're doing some of these moves. So like of course sometimes that's gonna come up, but Troy is like the most like attentive and supportive and just really just it was really healing to kind of go through that training process. Um, and yeah, from there, just it was then like COVID was happening, so I got to train like all winter in the barn. And then by the time events were allowed again, I was just like kind of fully baked and ready to go. Like, which is like that often kind of like isn't the way it goes with like wrestling training, but it was the timing was like really good for Moon Miss in that way.
That's so incredible. And while you were talking, I was just thinking, I never thought of sport or recreational move, well, body movement of any kind could also be somatic experiences as well and therapeutic at the same time. That just,
Oh my god.
I'm today years old finding that out.
Oh yeah. Well, it's one of those things like I feel like I never like actively thought about it. You know what I mean? In a like front of my brain, oh, I am thinking about how I am going to heal myself through sports and other people. Like I never thought of it that way, but I was always like seeking that stuff out. Like because I did rugby, I did boxing, like now I'm doing this sport and it's like a lot of my trauma is like like relational, like it's relational, it happened like with other people, and like it makes
Hmm.
sense that I would be seeking out these opportunities to heal with other people, like because um there's like so much healing we can do on our own, like we can do so much healing on our own, but I feel like when the harm has been done like relationally, a lot of the healing will come like in relation to others as well. Like that's part of why I always like I got so much out of like group therapy when I was at treatment, like being able to like heal in communion with other people. um and then like the wrestling stuff, like with healing in communion with these people who are like 100 and a million% dedicated to like keeping my body safe no matter what, like getting to experience that in such a visceral way and like sending those messages to my brain over and over and over, like no, like people are going to handle you like you're precious, like no matter how like scary this is, like they've got your back, like quite literally, like sending those messages to your brain and heart over and over, like that really I feel like it really adds up over time.
Hmm. I am just reminded of the time when I was really involved in Krav Maga, and
Mhm.
I learned it not here in Israel, but I learned it in Vancouver,
Mhm.
of all places, and not in a Jewish or Israeli setting. For those who don't know, Krav Maga is Israeli hand-to-hand combat training, and it's considered a martial art, also a self-defense method as well. And I remember seeing how tight-knit the community was and how supportive we were in the exercising and the actual drills and training.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
it was very sweet, even though I was throwing up from being over exercised completely. They're like, you could do another push-up, you got this, very,
Yeah.
very supportive. And I'm like, meanwhile, dying and wanting to like
No,
go
just
home and
like
watch
keep you
him.
down, guys.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But and like one of the fun send-offs that I had when at the time I actually moved to Israel, and my last Krav Maga session, they all like I think blindfolded me. I can't remember. This is a long time ago. And they all took turns at attacking me. And like, here's your
Oh
send
my
off.
God. Bye. Oh,
Bye.
what an act of trust, though. Oh my God.
Right. You can't do that if there's no trust because that's terrifying.
Yeah, no. Oh my gosh. So you went to the Krav Maga school in Vancouver?
Yeah, I don't think it's there anymore. Are you familiar with Vancouver?
Well, I just about just short of a decade ago, I remember going to like a CrossFit gym that was also part of a Krav Maga school. Like,
Yeah. Was
um,
it off of Richards downtown, off of Davie Street in Yaletown?
yeah,
What?
is that where you were?
Yeah, it's not there anymore. It's something else. But yeah, I also it was more than a decade. Well, it was about a decade ago when I was
Wow.
there.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
special. Because I feel that was a time when like people didn't really know what either of those things were
Yeah.
a lot
No,
yet.
no, for sure. This was like, yeah, off the beaten track.
Oh my God, I love that we were both in that space. That's so special.
See, we've been breathing the same
Yeah.
air, just living different
Yeah.
lives, but definitely on similar planes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my
that's
gosh.
great. And in terms, you said that pro wrestling is queer friendly and just very queer in general. Um,
Mhm.
and I'd love to know if there are other people who have they them pronouns, are also, yeah,
Yeah, I
tell
feel
us
like
more.
pro wrestling is just getting gayer by the day. It's always, it's always been gay, but gayer by the day. There's a bunch of like queer folks locally. Like this year, actually, yeah, this year I got to with one of my friends, Amy. We put on um like a queer wrestling event plus drag event called Glory Hold. Um,
Yeah.
it was really spectacular. And it's like we had like an all queer card, like only queer wrestlers. And I think like just what there's at least like another non-binary person locally who's just absolutely killing it. Actually, literally like just a couple days ago, Outsports, like if you Google them, they just released their like top 200 like queer pro wrestlers. So like if this is something like you're interested in or like just want to know more about, like Googling that and just like following the shit out of everyone on that list. Like there's everyone's so good. And one of them is my friend Justine Ward, also known as the Cannonball, who is local here and just I'm so proud of them. They're doing amazing. Um, yeah, and just like there's pockets of like queer wrestling everywhere.
I love that.
Mhm.
You know, when I discovered that roller derby was super queer friendly, I also was an adult. It was later in life, and wish
Yeah.
I honestly had known about that when I was a bit younger. I would have been really into that. And who knows, maybe I still might pick it up. But the idea of falling and getting hurt is less on my exciting list.
It's like
Recovery's
run
hard, and
beyond
I do
legal.
remember reading some of your posts on social media that you have been injured. This is not
Oh,
necessarily the easiest sport.
yeah. Well, like it's all my injuries are so dopey. Like I really, I feel like I'm not a good example in some ways because they never happen from like it never happens from like, oh, I did like a really dangerous move. It's like, oh, I stomped really hard and broke my leg. Like, oh, you know. So it's like it's really, I think like pro wrestling to me is like such a safe sport. Like everyone is so dedicated to like keeping each other's bodies safe. And I just yeah, it is like one of the safer things you can do. Like just like yeah, don't look to me for that evidence though.
Oh, I have the first one that just went.
Oh, it's happening.
Already happening.
Oh
But
my
yours is more
gosh.
even. Mine wasn't even at all. These ones, there was a lot of heat action, and so all of that's
Oh, like cook them
gone.
all down. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I was gonna say something else about sports. Man. Sorry, man, what a meathead. Jock. I don't remember what it was.
All good. All good. This is so fun to be able to connect with people and, halfway across the world in different time zones and talk about how they are queering, Jewifying, and doing all the things in their respective areas. And, we're getting a look into your life right now. And yeah, is there anything that you would like to add? Perhaps while we've been talking, you've been reminded of something you want to share about all of your identities and how you're celebrating all of them these days.
Oh man. Well, like what? The thing that felt like most impactful for me was the like over the last few years. There was one time that Lauren from Jewish and said something to the effect of like what like we're not percentages. Um,
Not fractions.
yeah, yeah, like we're everything all at once, you know? Like
Hmm.
um and yeah, I don't know. I guess I've just been thinking about I just always think about that one a lot. Like that it's more like just a layer cake, you know? or like I don't even know, not even that. It's like all the ingredients. So they're all baked right in. You can't separate them out. Like they're all, you know? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that.
That saying, that phrase that Lauren shared was written also by another member of the Japanese community, Yumi Tomsha, in the
Oh
Bay
my
Area.
gosh. Okay.
Super lovely queer Japanese person who um
Mhm.
I can't remember the whole thing, but I use it also saying, we don't sing our, blessings or do anything half Jewishly, or, we don't make our, sushi. I'm totally paraphrasing and not doing this right, but I'm saying, giving examples,
Yeah.
like we don't make sushi and only half do it Japanesely, like these are, you can't, yeah, you don't half-ass these things. You sing
Yeah.
them
No.
fully as you yourself. And so that's why it says, you're not a fraction of anything.
No,
You're
you are like
fully this.
whole
And I
assing all
really
of the
believe it.
things. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that also has been a huge change for me in how I identify and the language that I use in particular. Because for a really long time, people wanted to know, so like, what are you? And I would say half Japanese,
Right.
and that would satisfy the curiosity
Mhm.
of the person who's asking. But really, what that is through a total white lens of, well, what makes you different? And you don't say I'm half. If you like, in my case, I don't consider my Jewish side to be white, but like, say you are half white. Even I'm just giving this as an example. You never say the half white because that's
Mhm.
assumed. You say the
Right.
half that isn't white. And I really want to get away from that because it just doesn't feel right to me. The term currently right now that I really that sits well with me is Jupanese.
Mhm.
But if I were to be asked like, what are you? I mean, I have a whole slate of answers depending on my mood, but um I not only don't use fractions, but I'm very specific now. I'm
Yeah.
Jewish, I'm Israeli, I'm Japanese Canadian.
Yeah.
It's very important that I say the Japanese Canadian part because that is different than being from Japan.
Right. Yeah.
And then, of course, queer, neurodivergent. I mean, like a
Yeah.
woman of color. I mean, it just goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Well, like, man, like the even just like writing the description of myself for this, and I
Mhm.
like keep adding the right because I do want people to know I'm autistic, and like but like after I sent it, I was like, oh, I didn't put that I'm sober, like oh, but I didn't say anything about the Scottish stuff, like the Gaelic stuff, like it like all those all of those things all at once, and also just like noticing the things that I like when I'm not precise, like when I leave out the Scottish stuff,
Mm.
like the well, like exactly like you said, like my whiteness kind of makes me like overlook my whiteness, like whiteness gets to forget itself, like so like it's gross, and it's like good to like notice those moments. Also, like I have my own like just a lot of trauma from that side of the family that I think I try to distance myself from. So just
Mm,
noticing the times
mm,
that I do that, like not even intentionally, just
right.
like, is that an omission or am I repressing? Oh God.
I mean, family drama aside, though, it can be argued as well that, Gaelic and Scottish are also beautiful, you know, cultures and histories that
Mhm.
should also be celebrated and not forgotten, because that's really silly that we focus on what makes us exoticized.
Yeah, yeah.
And
No, I
I'm really not for it anymore.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, I
This
am.
is it. This is
I
it. This
studied
is it.
Gaelic.
This is another one. This one.
Oh my God. Oh, you're almost there. I feel like mine are gonna
Almost
just
there.
like poof all at once, Carmel.
Also have very beautiful candles, I might add. Those are beautiful beeswax. I mean, yes.
Thanks. I really,
I've got cheapo ones.
really
Cheapo
smart this year.
candles. Oh, here we go. Here's the other one. I'm trying to like
This
put
is
my
like my
hair
first
here
year
so
with
you can
really,
see
really.
it.
Oh my gosh, it looks beautiful against your hair.
Well, it's my natural gray, so you can't like right here. See, it's a good skunk
Oh,
tail.
I
This is my
have one.
Cruella de Vil or uh my rogue. Some people have described it as rogue, my skunk tail. Here we go.
Oh my gosh.
There's only one left. This has been so much fun to connect with you. We haven't had a chance to do this since the last time I was on your cooking Jewish and lesson, which I
Yeah,
really thoroughly enjoyed. And then I hosted my kabo challah, the
yeah.
kabocha squash challah.
Oh my
So we
gosh,
just
those are
had those
so
two. And
beautiful.
doesn't that feel like a lifetime ago?
No, who were we? What's
We were nobodies, but with somebody now.
little baby with carbs? That's so
Yeah,
sweet.
a long time ago. It felt like a long time ago. And it was just in early days as well of trying to like figure out how are we going to survive this pandemic and are we
Hmm.
going to still connect with people? Yeah.
I feel like
But good
this
for
is
us. We
like
did really well.
um oh, you can't see that I'm pointing at your candle. Um like when you catch a flame when it goes out like that, it feels like seeing a shooting star kind of, you know what I mean? Like when you happen to look at it right at the second that it extinguishes. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Man.
Well, I would really like to thank you for joining us today,
Oh my God, thank
for
you so
joining.
much for having me. It was so nice to spend time with you.
Same here. And thank you for joining JQT as our eighth and final Hanukkah Hottie. Be sure to follow all of Jennifer's work on their socials and website. We will be posting all that information in our event description. And thank you to our sponsor organization, Creating Accessible Neighborhoods, and our community partner, LGBTQ at the J. And thank all of you for tuning in to JQT Hanukkah Hotties. And with the last wisp, oh, you should see it's beautiful, this last one.
Oh
Oh,
no,
so
I
stunning.
saw it.
Yeah. Speaking of a shooting star, happy Hanukkah and Chag Chanukah Sameach to everybody.